Apple's redesigned brand new iPad mini is here, and in this video I'm gonna unbox it and talk to you about it here on EMKWAN Reviews. So here it is, the brand new iPad mini, 6th generation in this beautiful purple color. There it is at the back, 256 GB. This is the Wi-Fi and cellular. And we also have two of the smart folio cases that were announced at the same time for the iPad mini. We'll take a closer look at those in a moment. But first, let's open the box and show you what you get inside. Beginning with, wow, that is small. That is certainly mini. This is the iPad mini. You also get inside here some paperwork, including the quick start guide and obviously the Apple stickers. And then we get the USB-C to USB-C cable. This is now changed with the new iPad mini. And for that, you'll also get the 3-pinned, in this part of the world, USB-C power brick. So most of us were super surprised when Apple started talking about the iPads at the iPhone event, but even more so when they showed off what they've done to the iPad mini in terms of design, because it fundamentally looks very different from the previous generation of the iPad mini, but at the same time, it looks very similar to the current lineup of the iPad Air, but also the iPad Pros. It certainly has that flatter, more industrial look and design to it. And this purple color is actually really nice, not too bright. In fact, in some lighting, it actually looks gray. Now, looking around the device at the bottom there, you'll notice that you have a USB-C port, no longer lightning cable. This doesn't support Thunderbolt, but it will support the USB-C accessories. We also have dual speakers, both at the bottom and then there at the top as well. By the way, those dual speakers are actually pretty loud. Check this out. It's quite loud for a small device like this. What you'll notice is the Touch ID power button incorporation has also been moved to the top. Now, it would have been nice to see Apple start to introduce dual biometrics. At the moment, you only have Touch ID or either Face ID on devices. The redesign has also forced the volume rocker to be placed at the top there as well. Partly because I think on this side over here, when it's in a case, it's hard to access those buttons, but also because of this side here, having that magnetic area there for the Apple Pencil version 2. So let's quickly unbox these brand new smart folio cases for the iPad mini. We've got two. This is the purple color. Not much really inside the box other than the case. Attaching it really is very simple, just with the magnets on the back, as you would do. Looks very, very nice. Pulling that out, wow, that is much more vibrant. Again, not much inside. I actually dig the red. That looks very, very vibrant. Now, interesting, this year there are no keyboard cases for the iPad mini. I'm not sure why Apple have decided against that. Perhaps it's too small for a keyboard of sorts. I'm sure there'll be third-party manufacturers that will come out with that. But at the moment, the only option you have officially from Apple are these folio cases. And they work either as a stand like that on the back, or you can also have it this way if you want to type. Now, on the front of the iPad mini, you're going to see this beautiful, absolutely stunning 8.3-inch liquid retina display. And it's what we've come to expect from Apple when it comes to display technology, including P3 color gamut support, True Tone, and also 500 nits of brightness. There's also a layer of anti-reflective coating as well. It does pick up on reflections, but certainly not as much as some other displays that I've used. Now, everything from day-to-day use of multimedia, you know, just swiping, I don't know, playing games, using that display with the 2nd generation Apple Pencil is an absolute joy on this display. Very, very nice. You'll notice that the bezels around are very similar in terms of thickness to, let's say, the iPad Pro, but on this slightly smaller form factor, they appear thicker. On the front, you have a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, which you can see just about there. One of the big updates this year when it comes to the software side is that 12 megapixel ultra wide will also support something called center stage. Now, there are a range of different apps that support this. Zoom is one of them. If FaceTime is available, obviously that will support that as well. Always be in frame, no matter if you're walking around, relatively within the line of sight for that 12 megapixel camera, or if you have multiple people in at the same time, and it works really, really well. Now on the rear of the iPad mini, you've got a 12 megapixel wide camera. I'm not one of those people that likes to take photos with my iPad, but with this iPad mini, it's certainly a lot more easier to do with one-handed users, as you can see there. You do get some good shots as well. So it goes from all the way from 1x through to about 5x, and some pretty decent shots as well. Now, one of the benefits of that wide front-facing selfie camera is, and I probably wouldn't vlog with this, but if you do need it for video, I mean, look at that. It does a very, very good job, right? What do you think? Other updates to the iPad mini this year has been a power bump when it comes to the internals. So this is powered by the A15 Bionic chipset. We're talking 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU. Not only is that gonna have an impact, you know, when you're playing graphic intensive games, and I've had a lot of fun playing some of those over the last couple of days, but also graphic intensive applications as well. Certainly a bump up when it comes to performance from the previous generation iPad mini. A15 Bionic chipset coupled with the iPad OS means that for multitasking, everyday multitasking, but also multitasking specific to iPad OS is going to be much more enjoyable. Granted, on this slightly smaller screen, you might not be able to appreciate that as much as, let's say, on a larger iPad Pro or even iPad Air, but still all those multitasking functionality features on the iPad mini are there as well. Apple have also made updates to the connectivity. So the iPad mini now supports super fast 5G, and it will now support Wi-Fi 6. Okay, so far it's been pretty positive, but one of the areas we need to talk about is the battery life. You know, officially from Apple, most of the iPads should last around 10 hours worth of use. That really depends on how you use it. Now, on the first day, I absolutely depleted the battery life, but I did find that after plugging it overnight for a full charge, and also just changing up the way I was using the iPad mini, day 2 and day 3 were much, much better. All right, a quick update. It's now evening time, a couple of days into using the iPad mini, and it's now down to about 51% battery life, and that's with about 4 hours and 52 minutes of screen time, which is pretty decent. I've still got, you know, some more stuff that I can do with the iPad mini, so it's kind of in line with what Apple's recommended of about 10 hours, perhaps even a bit more than that. So remember at the iPhone 13 event, they spoke about getting rid of 64 GB for 128 gigabytes. Well, that logic seemed to work for the iPhone, not for the iPad mini, because the base model on this is the 64 GB. The next bump up will be 256 gigabytes. I think if you're considering getting this, it just makes more sense to get the larger capacity, because I think you'll actually get better use out of this for a longer period of time. And it's one of those devices that, unlike an iPhone, most people won't upgrade on a yearly basis. But it kind of surprised me that, you know, Apple would do that with the iPhones, doubling the base capacity, but not with the iPad mini. But in conclusion, I mean, the iPad mini is a solid device. It's a solid iteration of the iPad and what the iPad genre has to offer. I certainly think that this is a device that is going to appeal more to those people that need that smaller form factor. It's a fun device that you probably wouldn't have considered getting, but after the event, after having a look at one of these, you kind of want to justify buying. And that's for good reason, because it's a fun little device. I know that it would be very beneficial for people in the aviation industry or the health industry that might be able to take a smaller device that they can put into perhaps even pockets or, you know, smaller bags, as opposed to the larger devices. So I can see it being very, very useful in those scenarios. But for most other people, I think this is going to be one of those fun devices that you use around the house, you use when you want to play games, for multimedia use. In those scenarios, I think the advantage of the smaller form factor certainly outweighs the larger iPad options out there. What are your thoughts on the iPad mini? Do you want one? Let me know in the comment section down below. Plus, if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, because it helps me sleep better at night. Check out this other Apple unboxing and review here. I'll see you there next.